So this is our second town hall with urban communities, and we will be having these quarterly. So it's March 16th, 2022. Okay, wonderful. So we are going to start with HR communication, and then we will go through some business updates for Q1, and then talk about our current pipeline, talk about the Fund 1 sale, any follow-up questions. Then we will end on what your contribution is to urban communities, as well as the vision and goals that we have for the future. And then Max will bring it home with our brand promise and give a great analogy. And I'm Angela, the HR business partner for urban communities, and we'll get started. So today from the executive leadership team, we have Reed Williams, the CFO, and Max Palacio, the CEO, that will be talking.
I saw Raj also.
Oh, good.
I saw him on.
Perfect. And then Raj will be joining, and Raj and Lance are our new partners that came on board with urban communities in 2021. Kirk will not be joining us today, but I believe
He's on a plane.
He will be possibly on the HR drop-in tomorrow to do any follow-up questions from this meeting. So with that, I will hand it over to Jamie with...
I'm sorry, before you move forward.
Yes.
Guys, I think that everyone, or almost everyone, I know that everyone here in the office, but almost everyone also at the properties have already met Lance and Raj. So they are the two new partners and board members. They have helped a lot clarify processes, procedures, and they continue to help. They bring a lot of, cheer, goodwill, experience. We're very, very happy. Good energy, very good energy. So we're very happy and grateful to have them as new partners. And if anyone has not met them, I'm sure that soon we'll have the opportunity to do that.
And during this meeting, please put in any questions that pop up on the chat, and then we will address them either during the slide, if it's appropriate, or at the end. So don't be shy. If it's easier, just send me a direct chat, send me a Teams message, or just send it to the whole group. Okay, Jamie, we'll hand it over to you.
All right, thank you, Angela, and good morning and good afternoon, everybody in Urban Nation. A couple updates from HR. I'm going to start with open enrollment. So it's open enrollment season, and what we are doing now is we are holding information sessions. So everybody has had a chance to either join a virtual session, a group session at the corporate office, or there is another virtual session on Thursday. So we're getting you all the information, and then you will start your elections or waivers on Friday the 18th, and that platform will be open until the 25th. Now, we do have some exciting enhancements to our benefits program, but I just want to highlight a couple. We are continuing the same plans. So those plans for medical, dental, and vision all look the same, and the two of them are still free. So Urban Communities contributes up to $396, which is a change from last year. The difference in the change is because our premiums did go up slightly, but the company has still made them affordable, and those two options are still free for you as a team member only. Now that $396 goes towards your benefits for medical, dental, and or vision. So you can enroll what's best for you and or your family. Our providers stayed the same: United Healthcare, Delta Dental, and Vision. So those are all the same. It will look pretty similar. And in those information sessions, please ask those questions so that you can choose the right plan that works best for you. A couple enhancements that we've made is this year, starting April 1st, we will now have a paid parental leave. And this gives you the opportunity to have a paid time off for up to 6 weeks for either having a baby or adoption. So that's a great enhancement that the company is working towards, as well as increased your PTO. So that PTO you now accrue at 3 weeks per year, up to 2 years. 3 to 5 years is 4 weeks, and 5+ is 5 weeks. So as your tenure grows, so does your PTO time, which is very exciting. Another one more addition to that time off is we now observe 12 major holidays for all of corporate and property management, as well as your birthday day off. Some of you have celebrated your birthday and got to celebrate with a paid day off. Others, your birthdays are coming. So we look forward to celebrating you with those new enhancements. Any questions about benefits, enrollments, please reach out to Melina Barrera Gutierrez, as she is our HR generalist and is managing the benefits process. Those new benefits will kick in on April 1st, and your new benefit cards will be mailed to you in April. All right. Ready for the next one? Okay, so coming soon in Q2, which is right around the corner. We're in March and it's spring. Spring will spring right into Q2 in April. So what we're going to do is enhance our communication, and we're going to provide you with a resource that will be company-wide in teams. There's more information to come, but this platform will have our announcements like our birthdays and our anniversaries, our new hires. It'll have great resources for new and current team members, focus on rewards and recognitions. And we've started that monthly newsletter to be called Urban Times. You get that once a month. Those will be housed in the new teams channel as well. So look out for more communication that is coming so that we can reach all of our urban communities team members on one platform. And then finally, from our desk of HR, we're going to talk about some development also coming in Q2. So if we want to move to the next slide, I'll share with you some enhancements to our onboarding process and our continued conversations around performance. Our new hires will now have a defined 90-day connection with their manager to give feedback. Also, multiple opportunities during the first 90 days to provide feedback as we can continue to enhance our onboarding and training processes. And then for our current team members, we have mid-year reviews and annual reviews. We're going to incorporate quarterly performance reviews that are encouraged to be having those conversations with you and your manager to continue to focus on those goals and progress, cross-training, and interest in new opportunities like promotions or transfers or opportunities to learn more in another area. So lots of new enhancements to come in Q2 and throughout this year, and a lot of fun too. Max mentioned that our executive leadership team is growing with fun and positivity. We do have some fun around the basketball season, March Madness. So you don't have to be a basketball fan. You don't even have to be a sports fan, but Urban Communities is going to give away $400 in prize money. And there's a basketball tournament going on right now where you can fill out your bracket and you can have a chance to win $200 for the first prize, $100 for the second prize, and $50 for third and fourth place. And that's our Urban Communities Final Four. So take a chance. You can have luck as it plays, or you can pick the best team you think will win, but just a real fun opportunity to celebrate spring, some sports and team camaraderie. So have fun. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jamie. Hey, everyone, if you're decent, can you turn on your cameras, please? I would like to see all of your beautiful faces. If not, we would have organized a phone call instead of a video conference. I would love to have you all here, but that's not possible. So I would like to be able to see every one of you, please.
Okay, Max, do you want to kick it off with the business updates for Q1?
Yes. Well, as always, we have a lot of updates, but I organize them in a manner that we can share. And besides what I'm going to say now, I was thinking as Jamie was talking about the updates and the monthly newsletter, maybe we can record a short 10-minute video with updates for the month that goes along with the updates, where I can talk about, for example, these things. Yeah? Okay. Let's get Fund 1 sale out of the way first. That's obviously the biggest one. The properties hit the market, as most of you know. We've had great traction. It looks like the pricing is going to be above our estimation, which is good news for everyone. I know that we told you guys to calculate your equity at 1.25 per share. That's conservative. I'm not going to say where I think it is, but it's conservative. So it's good. We haven't established a date for call for offers, but that is going to come soon. Probably this week we will establish that date. And so it's moving forward. There is a lot of interest in the properties. So that's working itself through. I will continue to inform you all as things move forward. So seventh here in Phoenix has had a great deal of progress. So most of you know on this call that the first two buildings were fully renovated. They're fully leased. And the third building that is being renovated and is supposed to be released by the end of this month is already starting to get leased. As a matter of fact, Anna is putting together the model unit. And I know that after she puts together the model unit, within 2 weeks, would you say, Crystal? Within 2 weeks, it's going to get all leased. That's what happened with the other buildings. It took a while until Anna put together the model unit and it was done. So that's in 7th. Aspen Place. My God, we finally got the permits. Edward, Tanya, Courtney, you're all there. I see you all there in the room. So we finally got the permit. So work is starting to roll there. We have the materials. So I hope that this train doesn't stop until we finish. And that's what we want to do there. There have been some changes on the scope. Obviously, there has been price escalation plus changes on the scope. So the renovation cost is significantly larger than what we initially predicted. But at the same time, we were able to pivot some of those required changes and add value in the shape of washer and dryers or fire suppression systems that increase actually the value of the property more than the actual cost that it takes to do that. Also patio decks. Everyone knows that I love the patio decks. So that's that. Palmer Park. Well, the good news on Palmer Park is that we finally signed. So 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now in Palmer Park, we signed a deal with a preferred equity provider for about $8 million. And then a couple of days ago, we signed a refinance deal with a new lender that is going to cut our debt service in about half, right? Mm-hmm. So that is going to take the neck off our neck. The rope of our neck. I'm sorry, the neck of our neck, the rope of our neck, and it's going to help a lot. I know that people on site are going to be relieved because now they're going to have material and they're going to see work starting to happen. People here at the office, especially accounting, is going to be relieved as well because they're going to be able to pay the bills. We paid a lot of bills over the last 2 weeks, I think that we're pretty much caught up finally at Palmer Park. So that's the update with Palmer Park. So it's things are finally starting to happen there. Then Troutman. Troutman is for those who don't know, Troutman is a small building in Greensburg next to Pittsburgh. So when we bought this building, the idea was to buy the building next to it or behind it, and with both buildings do a renovation or a redevelopment, and convert them from department stores, which is what they used to be, into apartment complexes. However, there were problems with the second building, structural problems, and we didn't buy it. So we ended up with this one building, which we bought really cheap. We bought, what was it, here, about 400 and something? 490, so $500,000. So we decided that it's not worth for us to spend time there, and we're going to sell the building. We could only build something like 60 units, and you can imagine that that's not enough of a mass to create a whole structure and everything there. So that one is going to be sold. Houston acquisition. So finally, we put everything under contract. Houston is about 750 units, 3 properties. This last week, a team went there to review the properties. Crystal, Ashley, Josh, Tara, and Patty. And as far as I know, they like them very much. These are very good properties. It opens a new market for us. We're looking at more properties in Texas. Houston, I believe that Jared right now is underwriting another 1,600 unit portfolio. We're also looking at another acquisition in Dallas for another 500 units, and growing. That is coming together. Then Phoenix, there's a ground up development that our new partners, Lance and Raj, are bringing to the table. This is a property that is located on Van Buren at 24th Street. If you know the area and you drove it a few years ago, you're probably scared, but if you drove it lately, the area has changed a lot. This is an area that is gentrifying significantly, so close to downtown Phoenix, and this can open a new side to our business, which is ground up development of workforce housing, which is something very difficult to do. So this one underwrites really well. Obviously, we're gonna learn many things as we do it, and we will keep learning, but it looks like a great opportunity. And as I said, it will open many possibilities for new ground developments elsewhere. And finally, the REIT. So we are working with different groups for the REIT. Everyone knows here that my initial idea was to buy these distressed properties or old properties, or however you want to call them, renovate them, reposition them, and then roll them up into the REIT. The timing of the REIT is the only question. So we're trying to get the REIT set up probably in the next 2 to 4 months, so that we can have properties rolled into the REIT. We already have a couple of groups that are interested in it, and there has been ongoing conversations. So that's coming together. And why is this important? Because I was discussing yesterday, was it with you, Angela, or? Well, I was discussing yesterday, with Ashley, the importance of our equity share program. And maybe not everyone is very aware of that. I know that here in the office, you might be more aware of it because I keep talking about it, but at the properties, you might not. And the equity share program is so important. So I hear a lot of companies talk about taking ownership and being committed and all of that. Well, that in most cases doesn't mean anything. I remember when I dreamt about this company, I remember thinking about, I wanted the company had to grow so fast and had to be so strong and had to be the best. And there's no way that I can do that by myself. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to do it with a great group of people. And I'm looking at you right now. I'm gonna have to do it with a great group of people. And therefore, I want that great group of people to also participate on the value that we are creating. And that is the equity share program. So you all have a portion of the company, of the profits of the company. And I cannot underscore this enough. This is so important. And I really want you to understand that what we're trying to do is to create wealth for each one of you. So once we have the REIT, you will be able to roll your participation into a REIT and have shares that pay you quarterly. So now the money will start working for you and not the other way around. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is I was looking at the questions before this meeting or comments, and one of them was something about how are we going to, here it is, with so much competition for employees, what are the future plans the company has for employee retention? Well, the first thing that I want to say is you will never hear me say the word employee. I always talk about a team. You don't work for me. You're not my employees. We are a team that we all own a company. Okay? That is super important. And I really mean that. So, and when they talk about retention, well, where else can you go and build your own future? You're really building your own future. If you understand that and you understand how you specifically can add value where you are and add value to the rest of the team, and we can understand that we all rely on each other. We have to be able to rely on each other, knowing that I'm going to pass the ball to someone else and they're going to get it. And then he's going to pass it to someone else and she's going to get it. And together we're creating this. So that is why the REIT is so important, because that the REIT will be getting this ownership and this wealth creation in a concise manner, where you have your shares and you have your quarterly dividends, and that's what we're trying to create together. So anyway, the REIT will probably start over the next 2 to 4 months. That is the plan so far. So that's the updates for now.
Any questions from anyone? Feel free to message in the chat or go off mute and ask your questions now for Max about the business updates.
Let's go on.
Okay, let's go next.
Hey, hi, Max.
Yes,
Hey, Ernie.
Roger.
Hi, so 2 to 4 months on the REIT, does that mean there's a possibility, if it goes to plan, that the sale can be sold to the REIT rather than an outside company?
Everything is possible, Roger, but I cannot confirm anything yet.
Okay. And then my other question is the Van Buren property, is that, it says ground up, so that would be brand new? We'd be moving into brand new construction?
Ground up means from the dirt up. Yes. I'm not saying that is all that we're going to do. No, that's another possibility for the company. So as prices continue to rise, that could be a very good stream of business. And depending on the cities, might be worth doing it or not. So, yes.
Okay, I like it. Thanks.
We do like it. We all like it.
Thank you, Roger. Anyone else over there at Urban 148 wanted to chime in? Okay, well, feel free again to put your questions in the chat if that's more comfortable. Okay, let's kick it over to Reed.
Thank you. So just to kind of touch on or expand at least on some of the points that Max had in terms of deals that we're currently looking at right now. We have about 2,800 in the pipeline that we're currently evaluating, 2,800 units. Our goal for this year, for 2022, is to go out and purchase 5,000 units, which is it's an aggressive goal, but it's certainly something we feel capable that we can accomplish. And we're coming out pretty strong already. As Max had mentioned, we have Houston, which is 665 units under contract, and we're 90 days out from close on that. Dallas, we have offers out on a couple properties there, and then continuing to look at Houston. Texas is one of our big priorities right now because we have a new partnership that we're looking at to expand in that territory. So Jared's been very busy. We are still very active in terms of looking at buying new properties. In terms of other markets outside of Texas that we're looking at, well, it's a lot of the places that people want to live. Sunny, warm, good jobs, good markets to be in. So Florida, Tennessee, Nevada, the Carolinas, Colorado. These are just a sort of a sampling of some of the markets that we're really interested in terms of finding deals. A lot of people are moving there, so there's a high demand for housing. They have pretty good economies, great economies actually. So from a business standpoint, they're really good places for us to look at in terms of buying apartments. So in terms of our current pipeline, that's what we're looking at right now, and we're constantly looking at new deals, almost on a weekly basis at this point. So staying very active, continuing to focus on that goal of 5,000 units.
Okay, and Reed, this is for you too, Fund One follow-up.
So some of the housekeeping items, I guess, for Fund One, we had shared this earlier in the year, and if you haven't yet, please. The first point there, if you have any questions on Thursday mornings, HR is doing their sort of chat where you can come in, have questions answered, anything about the Fund One sale, whether you're here in Phoenix or if you're a team member that's in outside of Phoenix, in Detroit or Oklahoma. Everybody's welcome to sit in on these chats and have any questions that are answered. If you haven't already, everybody should have received the equity share email. That was an email from HR that gave details on the number of units that you have in Fund One, as well as go on to Paychex and acknowledge the award units that you received. If you were employed prior to November 17th of last year and you did not get that award, then please reach out to HR. We want to make sure that everybody that was employed prior to that award date understands what their participation is. Again, kind of following up on some things that we touched on earlier. So in terms of cash value, which is, that's really what people want to understand. What does this profit share mean for me? As we had previously valued those Fund One properties, which are the three properties here in Phoenix, 120, Urban 128, Urban 148, and S29. We had valued those shares at about $1.25 per share. So the example listed here, if you have 800 shares at $1.25, that's $1,000 in your pocket. Obviously, as Max said earlier, we're trending on a higher valuation there, so we expect that to go up without sharing any specific details at this point. So as we get closer to closing on those deals, we'll send out updated valuations so that people have a better idea of the cash value. Also, too, we're continuing to hire and fill for positions as normal for those properties. It is our sincere interest to find a home for all of our team members. And if you're in Phoenix, if that's moving to another property, if that's moving into the corporate office, if that's finding another opportunity at another property, even outside of Phoenix. We invest time and effort and really want to ensure that folks that understand Urban's culture stays with us. And so we will make every effort to ensure that folks continue to have a home with us. So please, if you're interested in any opportunities that may be at other properties or at corporate, please reach out to HR. Give us an opportunity to try to keep you within the company here. And if for some reason it's your future does not look like it's going to be with Urban in the long term, please work with us. We will help you in terms of finding the perfect job for your next steps. Last point on this page here is retention bonuses. Obviously, for those folks that are on site, we understand that this is a transition and it can be stressful. And in order to ensure that folks, realize that, understand our commitment, we are paying retention bonuses for those that may be impacted. If you have any questions, please reach out to Ashley and or Kirk. I understand that they have been reaching out to the teams, but they have more details on the retention bonuses.
Any questions really quick on the Fund 1 sale? Roger, are you trying? It looks like you might have another question.
No, I don't. I was just reiterating what was said. We're good.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and just one point also to add to that. So again, if you're in Detroit or Oklahoma, the profit share, you guys get paid out as well, right? So it's everybody in the company, whether you're in corporate, if you're on site, if you're, property management, maintenance, construction. When we get to the point of closing on these sales, everybody in the company will receive the cash award for their units. So please, if you have any questions, I don't want folks in Detroit or in Oklahoma, thinking that somehow they're not going to participate in this because it's a Phoenix property that's being sold. By all means, if you have questions, reach out to HR. Those Thursday sessions are great, or reach out through email as well.
And then last slide for you, Reed, impacting cash flow.
Give me a lot of slides.
You speak without an accent. That's
So kind of dovetailing off of the Fund 1 sale, and really this is more sort of general as well. But how everyone contributes is important. And this slide is more or less in light of the sale of Fund 1, but it obviously is true across the organization. So as we march forward in the sale process of Fund 1, as you can imagine, it's important that those 3 properties, we continue to operate at a high level. Operating them at a high level ensures that we receive the highest value from a buyer, which also means we can share the highest value in terms of profit share to people. So that $1.25, if we get a good sales price on it, or a good purchase price, then that means that goes up. So in real terms, taking care of these properties and taking this across the finish line is important, not just because it's the right thing to do for our residents, but also because it's going to impact everybody in the organization. And so what does that look like? Occupancy, obviously continuing to stay strong, which means unit turns, making sure we have good, strong leasing activity and that renewals are being pushed so that we can drive occupancy at the property. As well as collections, keeping collections strong. Cash is king. We want to make sure folks are paying their rent. We want to make sure that any of the SARA funds are obviously being pushed, and we're staying on top of that. Rental rates in the market here in Phoenix, but also in Detroit and in Oklahoma, we're in a very strong rental rate appreciation environment, meaning rents are moving and they're moving up. And so ensuring that we are pricing our units effectively, that when it comes to construction and renovating the units, that we're making sure that we're staying on schedule and pushing those forward, it helps increase the value of these properties significantly. And on the flip side, obviously, we need to be mindful of expenses. And so, keeping an eye on, what are some resourceful ways for us to keep expenses down, whether that's getting multiple bids for contractors, looking at preventative maintenance, ways to staff appropriately, especially for the property managers as we're looking at, overtime. And I understand that, the labor market is tight right now, but being aware of managing the teams, these are all things that are very important. And obviously knowing your budget. And those are things that, working with accounting and or myself, if you guys have questions on, more than happy to answer questions and address any concerns that folks may have. But again, this is sort of in light specifically for Fund 1, but this is obviously what we do as a business. And it's kind of our brand, which is to provide excellent service to our residents through operating the business efficiently through some of these ways. So
I have a comment there. So I know how stretched most people are at the properties. It's hard right now in this labor market to get all the help that we want and that we need. I know that HR is working really hard at trying to do that. However, I have been there. Every job in this organization I've done one way or another. I've turned units. I did maintenance. I leased units. I did a little bit of everything. And I can tell you many stories. And the thing is, I'll tell you a quick story. We used to have Shelton Residential, which used to be Shelton Cook, as property manager a couple of years ago. Every month when they gave us their expense report, and I see Ian laughing, I would sit down, going line by line and pound on the table. Why are we spending on this? Why are we spending on that? And the reason is because they have a different business plan. They get paid on the revenue of the property, on a percentage of the revenue of the property, without taking into consideration the expenses of the property. Therefore, it's a completely different business plan. It doesn't matter that they spend too much, as long as they have income. In some cases, that income was not enough to cover the expenses that they had, but we still had to pay them. And one example of that was on the first property, Urban 188. I remember I was on a trip on vacation for Christmas. And this happened during those days, because if not, it would not have happened. I was all the time on the property. And what happened is there was a plumbing issue behind some cabinets in a kitchen. And the property manager had called the preferred vendor for Shelton. And the preferred vendor came and gave us a bid for about, if I recall correctly, $2,500. But that did not include afterwards the cabinets that they were going to destroy, nor putting together the unit, nor the days that the resident was going to be out. So all in all, we were talking about $5,000 or more. And so the property manager at the time, who even though she was on Shelton's payroll, she was more of we put her on Shelton's payroll, so she was part of our team. She calls me and she says, Max, this is what they are trying to do, and they are forcing me to do this because this is urgent. So really, it's urgent. I mean, it is urgent. The resident cannot have an active leak in their unit. But if it's urgent and they go down this road, how long is it going to take? Well, it's going to take about a week. So we're not really solving the urgent problem. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Send the resident to the model unit. That's number one. Send the resident there today. Put together the model unit for the resident, and so that the resident doesn't have to go through this situation. Second, call Pancho. And Pancho is there on the line. Call Pancho and have him take a look at what's going on, because he will be able to tell me if this is an issue that we have already had in this property, because we've had many issues there. And Pancho comes back and he calls me and says, yeah, it's the same thing that we had before. So long story short, One of our residents there was also a master plumber and had the equipment. He had a very strong snake or something. He charged us $200 and clogged the pipe. And the resident went back into his unit. No more problems. $200 versus $5,000. So I know that it takes the eye of an owner to really figure out, how can I be saving money? How can I be more effective? How can I make something better? I used to go to bed every night, and I still do, every night thinking about problems, trying to come up with solutions, whether those were construction, financial, whatever that was. I was always trying to come up with solutions or finding ways to make things better, to the same things that we're doing them better. Well, this is what I expect from all of you. This is why I want you all, this is why you're not employees. This is why you're all owners. I really expect each one in their own lane, and sometimes helping others, but to go to bed thinking, how can I do this better? Or how can I solve this problem? How can I contribute to the rest of the team? Because that is what's going to make us different. This is going to be, and you can go to the next slide, which is the vision, I think. This is going to be the biggest and the largest workforce housing multifamily company in the country. That depends on all of you. Do you want to be part owner of the largest multifamily workforce housing in the country? If the answer is yes, figure out what can you do to achieve that. We want you all, you are all part of this team. If you're here on this call, you're all part of this team, and we want you here. We want you for the growth. Today, you might be a leasing agent, or today you might be, I don't know, maybe an electrician. I'm looking at the guys right now in Aspen Place. But you can be much more. You can be, you can grow with the company. You might be at an entry-level position. Well, you might soon be a supervisor, and then you might decide to change careers, but still stay with the company. And I always give the example of Crystal here at the table. She was a resident. As a resident, she asked if she could be a part-time leasing agent, and she started as a part-time leasing agent. She knocked it out of the park. She became a full-time leasing agent. She knocked it out of the park. She became an assistant manager. She knocked it out of the park. She became a property manager, and now she's the marketing director for everyone. And she started as a part-time leasing agent. How long ago?
6 years.
6 years. Well, obviously, Crystal has been with me for a while. The same thing can happen. Well, but when Crystal was doing that, I was pulling cable, or I was sometimes showing units. Do you remember? So that's why I'm saying I've done everything that you guys did here. But it takes taking ownership on this. So this year we're going to buy 5,000 units. Next year we're going to buy 15,000 units. And I know this sounds like a big number. Hey, I remember when I was telling Crystal, we're going to buy 3,000 units. She was like, what? Well, we bought 3,000 units. Now I'm saying we're going to buy 5,000 units. We're going to buy 5,000 units. And she knows that when I say it, I mean it. We're going to buy 5,000 units. Why? Because now I have a much better team, much larger team than when I started. So I know this is possible. We are making it possible. I know that we had a lot of problems last year and the year before with COVID and such, funding issues and things like that. Well, we're solving them all. So we're really, I see this like a slingshot. We're pulling, and we're about to release, and we're going to fly. And we're going to fly all together. So, and then year 3, so we're going to start the REIT this year. Year 3, we're going to go public. So this is the vision that I have for the company. And by the way, right there, you only have 20,000 units on the screen. Well, I didn't want to say how many more units I want to buy in year 3 because you wouldn't have believed at this point. But next year you will believe it. Next year I'll tell you.
don't scare people yet.
Well, but next year I'll tell you. Let's go to the next slide. So I need your collaboration. This is something that I came up with yesterday as I was talking about this presentation. And the comparison here is when you jump in a bus, the driver takes you wherever he wants, and you might fall asleep on your seat, and then you arrive, and that's it. Well, that is if you were to go to a different company, where when you come down, you're still the same kid that went up the bus, and you didn't really earn anything. Now that's not who we are. We're more like the Vikings on the next picture. We're all rowing this boat. I need all of you to row. If one of you stops rowing, we will all feel it. But guess what? Once the Vikings arrived somewhere, they conquered. So that's who we are. I need all of you to row. That's why this comparison was great, because we don't go into a school bus, fall asleep, and let someone else take us wherever they want. No, we are all driving this. So I need all of you to help drive this from wherever you are. So this is the message that I want to convey. We are growing, and I'm saying this because as I was touring one of the properties, someone mentioned that there was a little bit of doubt in the ranks, saying, "Oh well, Urban is going under, or Urban is restructuring and getting smaller and firing people." Hell no, we're growing, guys. The sale of Fund 1 has nothing to do with a restructuring or anything like that. It's actually for the growth of the company. We're not slowing down. I want to make that clear. We're buying more properties. We already have 750 units under contract now, and more to come. So please don't doubt what we're doing. This company has grown and will continue to grow exponentially. I see all of you right now on the call, and I cannot count how many we are. But the other day, Jamie gave me a count, and it was 116. 116, and more coming next week and the other week, and so on. This was 3 of us. What was it, Crystal? Nothing. Pancho, Ruben, Crystal, myself, and then we started growing from there. Guys, we're not stopping. We're not decelerating. We're nothing like that. We're Vikings, all rowing towards the same goals, and we're going to conquer. And that's what I want you all to understand. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for rowing. Thank you for rowing hard. And with this, if anyone has any questions, I'm here for you.
So now is question time. There's a couple that have popped up that were filled in on SurveyMonkey, but if you do have other questions from today's presentation, feel free to take yourself off mute or send a chat on the chat box below. Someone was asking about expansion in Michigan.
Yes. So in Michigan, yes. In Detroit, no. So I love the state of Michigan. The city of Detroit has proven to be a little challenging. But hey, we go outside of, I think, 8 Mile or something like that, and we're outside of Detroit. So we're good. So the answer is yes. As we find the right properties, yes, we're going to continue to expand there. I mean, we're already there, so there's no reason why not to if we find the right deals outside of Detroit.
Another question was just about the strategic plan for the next 5 years, which I think you covered the next 3, and obviously
a lot of rowing.
Yes.
A lot of rowing, and get your axes sharpened.
And then someone asked about growing properties, adding properties in the Phoenix market, which I believe you addressed with the new development, ground up development, and other properties.
And more to come as we find good opportunities. We're going to keep them coming.
Someone asked about the email in regards to Fund One, and Reed addressed that with, HR did send that out right before that last meeting. However, if you are someone that didn't receive it,
Resend it.
we can resend it.
Just resend it to everyone as a reiteration.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can I ask a rhetorical question?
Come closer to the mic.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Alford here on the capital markets side, investor relations side. So one question that many of you may have in the back of your minds, and I'm only speculating, but I'll make this assumption, is that how do I possibly have other family members invest that may have some money and liquidity with the volatility in the equity markets? So it's a great question. And if you do have family members or friends that are accredited investors that have $1 million in net worth or more, or just want to learn more about how people do invest with us, give me a call or shoot me an email at petealford@urbancommunities.com.
Pete has a big oar.
Yeah, she saw those numbers, folks. There are dollars behind those 15,000 units. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you. Yes. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm reading.
And we could even go maybe property by property to make sure that everyone does feel comfortable and gets their questions answered. I'm looking at Urban 148.
I have one comment. So I'm looking at the questions, and one of them was, what is the biggest challenge you are facing today at your job or in the company? And one of the points there was uncertainty. Well, I understand that there's uncertainty. I wake up every day and I have uncertainty. The only certainty that I have is where I want to take the company. Sometimes I don't even know how until I create a plan. But having the certainty of where I want to take the company, having the certainty that I have a good team behind me, it's enough. I don't have all the answers. And most of the time, I have very few answers. But I just keep pushing forward. It's the only way I know. So when someone at the properties has uncertainty, feel free to reach out. We might not have the answers, but we might tell you, hey, wherever we're going together. And that to me is the biggest piece of certainty I can have, because I can make all the plans in the world, but plans rarely come to fruition as planned. But while we know where we're going and who we're going with, we're good. And that is the biggest certainty I can have.
Rhonda, it looks like maybe someone at 7th had a question. Rhonda or Frank? Okay, well, let's see. Okay, so besides growing our unit count, is there anything else to put on this strategic plan?
Well, growing the unit count is not just buying more properties. We need to always be in this constant process of improvement in anything that we do, improvement from the maintenance, the preventative maintenance, how we lease the properties, how we walk the properties, how we interrelate with our residents, how we build the properties, how we procure material. I mean, growing doesn't just happen. This company didn't just happen. And this is something that I also wanted to touch on. Some people have been with me for a very long time, like Crystal. Some people have been with me for a long time, like most of you here at the table. And some people are new in this call. Well, I would like for the people that have been with me for a long time or for some time to be able to convey. So you don't just hear it from me. You can hear from the rest of the team. How we work. And another thing is and how we work, and this I'll tie it up with some other things. There were a few questions about training. And yeah, training, we need to get better at training. We are already better than what we were at training. By the way, when I did my first maintenance call, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to treat the resident. I had never gone through what is this discrimination course, fair housing course, or anything. I just use common sense. Yeah, I just use common sense. That doesn't mean that training is not needed, and we want to create training and we want to create programs. And as a matter of fact, there's a few programs already that have been implemented with Grace Hill and others. the online training. But don't wait until the situation is perfect, because it will never be perfect. There's always going to be something. Just keep pushing forward. Use your common sense. Reach out to the rest of the team. If there's something that you don't need, that you don't know, or you don't understand, we're all here together. So your success is everyone's success, but so is your failure. So the way not to fail is to lean on your other team members. Okay.
Any other questions out there? And thank you for that question that came through the chat. I know someone did ask about policies, procedures, and training. So Max went over training, and we are continuing to expand on the training, working with subject matter experts and putting different programs in place. And obviously development is very important to the company's success. Policies and procedures, we are very young as a property management company. We just took over 2 days after I got here in 2020. So we are working hard, and we do have policies in place. We're just still working on creating that playbook that we can release to everyone at the properties. But there are definitely policies and procedures in place. I've seen a website that Hannah and Ashley have put together, and Crystal. And so if you don't know where your policies are in regards to specifically property management, please reach out to Ashley, because there are a lot of policies.
Okay, let's sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Let's send them.
Yeah.
Let's send them now, today, the policies and procedures and the handbook and what the playbook that you're talking about. It might not be finished. Send it as it is. And then when there's an update, send the update. And everything is a work in progress. We are a work in progress. As a company, we're a work in progress. Things keep improving, things keep changing. Let's use that same criteria for everything. Let's send them as much information as we can so that they have something. And then as updates are available, we'll send those.
But if you don't know where to find them, because they have been sent and we'll resend them again, just reach out, because I think a lot of times it's just communication, and that's why we're trying to work on internal communication with the Teams channel that will be rolled out in Q2. So please don't, be shy and asking questions and getting support.
There was one more thing here that says, are there any concerns with the upcoming changes of urban communities that you want to address in more detail? And someone said, just hoping there will still be enough work once sale is completed. Does anyone doubt that there is going to be enough work? We have more work than we can handle. There's going to be and more coming. Please don't doubt that, because if you have time to doubt that, then you don't have enough work today. We have so much work and more coming, I promise you. We're not that type. First of all, usually sellers or owners of properties don't say anything about a sale until 2 weeks before it closes. We told you before we even put it on the market. Why? Because you are our team. We don't treat you as someone from the outside. You are our team. I always talk about a family, but I know family is kind of a tricky term because each one has his own. But a team, we're not going to let anyone down. We're not going to hide a sale from you. We're not going to pull the rug from under your feet. Not at all. As I mentioned, we're in this together. We're rowing this together. There will be more than enough work. And I keep telling everyone, if you have people that you think that will fit our culture, bring them. Whatever it is that they do, I don't care. Bring them. Have them send a resume. Have them interview with us, whether that's in maintenance, accounting, I don't know, anything and everything. So yeah, that's it. Do we have any other questions?
Just one that was mentioned, and thinking of it as an entrepreneur mindset, right? Pride and property position, if it's owned by self. treating each property as it is their own, reflecting that with customer service and pride for self for the betterment of the company. Chelsea had this thought. She doesn't want to say it out loud.
Come on.
Chelsea,
Where
don't
is
be
Chelsea?
shy.
Chelsea,
she's in
put
the
your
other-
camera on. Turn your camera on.
She's in the Jamie. Oh,
Okay.
Chelsea, sorry to call you out, but do you want to say it? I feel like I'm not doing it as eloquent as you could.
No, it's fine. I try to relate it to the managers when I talk to them is just having an entrepreneur mindset. You don't have to deal with all the back end as long as you're dealing with what you need to do for the betterment of everyone. So you don't have to have that stress of being an entrepreneur on your shoulders, but you can reflect it as if it's your own. Like each property should be treated as if you are having the pride of you're coming in. This is what I'm presenting to you. This is my pride, and that reflects on everyone. And that's even what I do in my position. So that's relayed through the company. So that falls back to the company is how we all treat our properties, our positions individually too.
100%. Our groundskeeper at 148/ambassador, Urban Communities Ambassador knows that very well. Roger treats a property as if it's his, because it is his. And he takes so much pride on it. And I wish we all do that. Don't be, I never liked, unless obviously there's exceptions, but I never liked when I never control time. I don't control, hey, what time do you get here? Time do you leave? And as you know, we're very flexible for the most part. Obviously, there are some things that we need to abide by, which is opening the offices at certain time of the properties, etc. But whenever someone has something personal that they need to do, all of that is fine. But by the same token, I want everyone to say, hey, for example, other properties, my delinquency is high, being the 15th or 16th of the month. I need to go out and knock on doors. But I know that my residents don't come back from work until 5:30. And 5:30 is the time I need to go home. Well, maybe today or tomorrow, I need to go out and knock on some doors because this delinquency is affecting the rest of the team significantly. Think as an owner, because you are owners. That delinquency lowers the value of the property. That delinquency causes problems for accounting. That delinquency causes problems with the lenders and many other things. So you are, I don't want to say take ownership. You are owners. Just deal with it.
Okay, well, any other questions out there? If not, feel free to send HR a message and we can relay it over to the executive leadership team and then get your response, your question answered.
Perfect. Well, team, thank you so much for being there. Thank you very much for rowing. And we are always here for you. And I hope it's the same the other way around. Let us know if you need anything. And in the meantime, we're going to continue having these updates for you. Thank you.
Thank you.